This is a weird one. Just had this thought, had to make this video, and like all, like all of my ideas, are not fully cooked, sort of speaking. Just as the ideas come, and sometimes that's the best way because they can develop. And as ideas come, they tumble out like 400 a second, and you can't grab all of them. You might grab 2 or 3, and then hope to talk about them and build them back up to maybe get 10% of what happened in that 1 second, that thought, that cascading thoughts. How precious is time? It's everything, really. Especially when you get older, you sort of realise. But how precious is time in our modern world? In our modern world, we not me, but a lot of people, most people, and it annoys me that people have to have everything bang, 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 bang. They don't want to invest any time in learning something. They just want to know the answer. They don't want to learn the skills. They don't want to... they want someone else to do all the hard work for them, and they just want to be given. That's nihilism, right? I didn't know what that word meant until probably a year ago, and I've got this saying from way back that was along the lines of some people are into image and some people are into substance. And I've always been into substance. I've always invested in myself, and I don't know if this analogy is quite working out as I'm talking about it, but some people are into image. And nihilism, maybe it's not quite the image thing, but they just want whatever they want when they want it, and damn the consequences. Nihilistic people probably wouldn't do an apprenticeship. Back in the days when an apprenticeship was actually something. When you spent all the years doing the wax on, wax off before you got to work under the hood, sweeping the floors and cleaning all the parts, before they worked out if you were worthy to teach. But no one wants to do that sort of stuff these days. I've got a younger brother, actually, that he's my half brother. I told you about him. He's the one that the stepmother and that went off in the pram. Anyway, he came over to stay with me dad, and I was around it as well, in a nearby town, when he was 17, 18, and to get him out of the gangs and stuff. And he liked cars and stuff like that. He was into hotting up cars and all this sort of stuff, and he knew nothing about it though. And my dad was a mechanic, I'm a mechanic, and my dad, he wanted to help him to learn to be a mechanic, so he went down to the wreckers, the old cars, and he picked up a motor, just any old motor, and brought it home, took it out in the shed, and said, okay, here we are, pull all these parts off, and the first job you've got to do is to clean all the parts. And my younger brother said to him, hey, no. I don't want to learn how to clean parts. I want to be a mechanic. And my dad told him, this is what I had to learn to do, and every other mechanic has to learn to do. And one of his when he was a very young mechanic, the fellows that were teaching him, tradespersons, said to him, "Boy, you clean parts real well, because if you can't clean parts real well, you'll never be a really good mechanic." Something along those lines. And so my dad told him that. He said, "No, I want to be a mechanic. I don't want to clean parts." So that engine got pushed under the bench and got left. My brother never learnt anything about being a mechanic. And he's trying now, this is 20 years later, and he's trying now to work on some Cheech and Chong gangster Impala with all the up and all that stuff. And really he has no idea. He's trying to glue up brake lines, and he's asking what's the best glue to glue up brake lines. I mean, that's just like a cry for help, if anyone knows, and dangerous. He still doesn't want to know. He didn't want to invest the time into learning something. So time is precious. See that little bit of silence there? Did that make you feel impatient? If you're in a car ride with someone, or sitting with someone, do you feel the need to talk? Can you just be comfortable in silence? Do you feel the need that you have to frickin' talk? I had a bloke working for me that was like that. He just could not. He would just make up stuff. Total random bullshit. And he would have no recollection that he said all these things. He just cannot deal with silence. Cannot deal with it. And so our Instagram world that's been created over the last 15 years, I guess, where people have lost their ability to focus and have some staying power on watching like a movie. Some people can't watch movies anymore. They're too long for them. And God forbid you've got a YouTube video with a little tiny bit of silence in or a bit of boring stuff. People are not going to hang around for the gems. No, they're not. You're wasting my time. That's what they'll say. Generally millennials that'll do all that sort of stuff. I don't know, maybe even the younger generations that have now. But do they stop and try and diagnose something, try and fix themselves, try and understand why they're like this? I don't know, I'm just rambling now, but this bit of silence is trying to work out how the hell I'm going to tie this into being INFJ's Born or created. I don't know. I know that I've always been able to be by myself in silence and just think, or let the brain wander and lots of ideas come up. I tell you, my brain never stops processing, I suppose, but I can be very calm also, under fire as well. I can be very calm in confrontational situations, even though I hate confrontation, even though mother would start all the fights, and there'd be all sorts of yelling and screaming and banging and smashing and throwing and stuff going on. Most of the time growing up, I was hiding in my room or staying out of the way. And my initial reflex is to look away. Just like that Amber Heard, like the jury. Every time Amber Heard would be looking at the jury, I'm sure they'll be going, no, don't look at me. You're a train wreck. I don't know, but somehow I've got a certain stillness or calmness that I've built up because I've dealt with a whole lot of stuff when I was 9 and 10. That I can actually sit in a battlefield and just look and observe everything, see what's going on. Like in a bar fight or something, you could see I could generally see all that sort of stuff happening before it happens. I go, hang on, that one's looking at that one, and they don't realise that that's going on. And hang on, they're gonna try and start a fight. Hang on, his mates are coming in now. They were just in before, and they were, I can see all that stuff. I can just see it all building. I can feel emotional energy, all that sort of stuff. INFJs are good at, but I can actually sort of sit there and watch. Like I'm not there. Like I'm still, like floating above the whole thing and looking. Sort of freaky. It's freaky when it ties into some deja vu stuff. Like you go, oh, hang on, I've been here, I've seen this happen. Like I said before, that hasn't happened too much in my later life, but there are times. But it's freaky when deja vu sort of stuff happens. Now, I don't know if INFJs talk about that stuff, because it makes them seem like weirdos, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with being a weirdo, just that you're a bit different, that you can sort of read the tea leaves, read the fate, wait for the thing to happen. Like when I made this channel, I made it pretty simple so that I could just film something, stick it straight up, no editing. I went and made a bunch of thumbnails just so that my face wasn't on the thumbnails, so that, that's just a little tiny layer of anonymity, even though most of the time if someone rolls over it, they would see my, I sort of don't really plan on anyone I know seeing this sort of stuff. And a lot of people in my family are still alive, so, just about everyone, yeah, really, except my grandparents and an auntie. So, I don't really plan on for it to go, just anyone to see it, I've sort of done it in such a way that if they do, it's just honest stuff, so it doesn't matter. My opinion. Hopefully there's nothing defamatory in there and all those sort of things, but it's just, it's how I see it. Maybe it is. I don't know how the truth can be defamatory though. As long as I do stick to the truth, best of my recollection, should be right. I don't think it works that way, but But I'm not going out to chuck any shit on my mother and stuff like that. I don't plan for her to see this. Or me, necessarily my brothers or anything like that. So if I'm sort of saying anything sort of semi-derogatory, It's just me being honest, and I would say it to their face if I haven't already. So, there's that. I don't know if I've just tied that into being an INFJ for this rambling shit, but the stillness thing, the stillness. I think people should be able to, here I am telling people what to do, no I'm not, but I wish people could be still, be calm, look inside themselves, look at what's happening in the world, see what their actions are causing, see what the world's actions are causing them to do. It's just learning, much the same way you'd learn in an apprenticeship, or you'd learn some skills, whether it's a martial art or something. You don't start off as a black belt. You got to work your way up. But no one spends the time on themselves, making themselves a better person. I think INFJs do to a large extent, as long as they don't go off the rails somewhere, or whether that be psychotic parents and narcissistic partners and things like that. But I think they largely can sort of sort themselves out, and maybe that's what this channel's about. From my youngest memories, I've felt that I was different, and I've been able to sort of sort myself out, and I could sort other people out too, but I don't really. I can tell them what they need to do. I can tell them what's wrong, but they don't hear it because I don't sugarcoat it. When you go down the rabbit hole of this INFJ, there was the Heyoka thing and the Sigma INFJ. There was something about that the other day, and I'd read and I talked about it the other day, and they can be quite blunt. And I think when I heard those couple of videos, I think, hang on, that's me, because I get in trouble for being too blunt all the time, and not sugarcoating things, and not laying it out in a way like a really good lawyer would, laying all the foundation of the story, getting it so that people think it's their idea, and they can, I've done that sort of stuff before, and I proved myself to be capable of doing that sort of stuff, but it didn't feel right to me. It felt like I was doing some shyster thing. I'm doing some con man thing, like almost creating a delusional world to help the other person learn something. Even though it was all based on reality, it's just what the smart people do to manipulate and convince people. But I just felt it's easier to say it straight. Usually people reject it like oil and water, and then off they go. 6 months later, they'll hear the same advice, exact same advice, from some master manipulator. Works out how to make it an agenda in it, and all of a sudden, hey, yeah, they're my best friends, and they told me this, really helped me out. Yeah, well, you could have listened to me 6 months ago. See, the thing is, when you do say things in a blunt way, it activates emotional reactions, negative reactions, and all that really means is that the people you're dealing with are emotionally retarded is probably the right word. emotional. So you need to be able to put your emotions aside to be able to learn stuff. And your feelings. And take the time. Take the time to learn about yourself. Maybe I was lucky that at some stage of my life I did a little bit of Tai Chi, and with that there's meditation and stuff like that. I did a little bit of martial arts, and you do sort of learn to calm down and focus. I think the pot helped though at a certain stage. It really did allow me to reflect. I think it changed a few brain chemistry, neuron pathways or something like that. I really don't regret that. I think it held me back from some things, like career and things like that, because I didn't want to put myself out there too far, because I didn't want anyone to find out that I was smoking pot. But it really did help the way I thought, I think. And so I don't regret it at all. And then when I stopped, when I was 28 and a half, I just stopped because I wanted to, go and change my life and all that sort of thing. And all the benefits of it, I think, are still baked into my brain for the way that I think, the way that I can focus on things and calmly sort of reason. Anyway, stillness, calmness. Don't be in a hurry. Time is precious, but you have to invest your time. You do have to invest your time.